Here I am, safe and sound. It's been 2 weeks since I posted my last video, and again, I have to just say this every time I take small little breaks. So, some are longer than others. Some have been a few months. Others have been like this one where it's been a couple weeks. But I just want to say again, thank you to everyone that has messaged me. You know, I have the best subscribers in the world. I know other YouTubers say that, but goddamn, like every time I go any length of significant time without posting a video, people don't message me and ask me, when are you posting again? They always say, is everything okay? You know, like, oh, did you take another break or a holiday or blah, blah, blah. And it's just good. It just makes you feel good inside to know that people who you barely even know give a shit about you. It's wonderful. So I just want to say thanks, guys. Everything's fine. Again, I went to California to watch my daughter play in the Big West tournament for her beach volleyball. She fucking killed it. It was great watching her. And then also I caught it. I mean, we're all going to get it eventually, I think, but I caught the vid. I don't know. I guess it affects everybody differently. To me, it just felt like the flu. I had the chills and the aches, and my throat is still a little raspy. I'm sure you could tell. But I'll tell you what, the one thing I did do, I know they say stay in your room or stay in your house and isolate and blah. And I did. I stayed away from everybody, but fuck me, I was outside every day in the heat and the sun, and I felt great. And I think it helped it pass a little quickly, or more quickly than it should have. So, because I didn't have it very long, which was great. So the only thing I'm still dealing with, like I said, is my sore throat. But I figured, you know what? I have been watching a ton of movies, and I wanted to jump on here and give you guys like 6 that I feel you should watch. Well, 5 I feel you should watch, and you probably already watched them. And then 1, it's just a pile of shit. So anyways, and I have a funny story. I wasn't going to say anything, but I think I should say this story. But anyways, guys, so again, this is going to be kind of a horror movie roundup. Again, some of these movies I've watched a couple weeks ago, so I don't remember all the key points about them. So I'm just going to quickly go through the synopsis and let you know, that I liked them or I didn't like them, and just tell you a bit about it. But and give you my opinion. I think a lot of these movies you guys have already seen though. So, but anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so funny story. When I was flying back from California, all right, I always watch movies, right? I always download movies on my phone. So from where I live, I don't go in hours, I go in movies. So from where I live and when I fly out, it's usually a 2-movie trip, right? And it's about the same coming back, obviously. So anyways, I watched a couple movies on the way down there, but on the way home, one of the movies I watched was On Golden Pond, okay? Now, I'm 50, all right, so a lot of you probably never even heard of that movie. Okay, listen, as you get older, there's a lot of things in your life that change, and a lot of things that you are going to happen to you as you get older. And every time I watch this movie, I start bawling, okay, like a little fucking baby, because it hits the heartstrings in so many ways with this movie. And I forgot about it because it had been like eons since I watched it. So anyways, long story short, I had all these horror movies lined up on my phone I was going to watch, and I ended up watching the first movie when we took off was On Golden Pond, okay? So here I am, a half an hour into the flight, and I always get the window seat, and I'm like sitting in the window holding myself like this so nobody else can see me or hopefully hear me, because I'm fucking crying like a baby. Okay, like I wasn't full on boo-hoo-hoo, but I had, there's certain scenes where there's tears coming down my eyes, so I'm like trying to wipe my tears away, blah, blah, blah. So anyways, the stewardess, I guess, saw out of the corner of her eye, I was acting kind of weird, or I don't know, just like a fucking bozo on the plane. So she comes over and she's like, "Excuse me, sir, excuse me, are you okay?" So I paused the movie, and luckily this lady was probably in close to my age, I would say. She was probably in her mid-40s. Okay, and I took my headphones off, and I said, I'm just watching On Golden Pond, so I'm a little emotional. And she's like, oh, I love that movie. She was okay. Because the people beside me were sleeping. I'm a fucking idiot. Anyways, so there's my story of flying home from California, 50 years old, crying like a fucking baby during On Golden Pond. If you haven't seen On Golden Pond, it has nothing to do with the horror at all, or horror genre, but it is fucking fantastic. It's got Katharine Hepburn in it, and Henry Fonda, and Jane Fonda, and it's a great movie. Anyways, okay, so you can laugh at me all you want, all right? But on the way to California, I was never going to watch this movie. As soon as I saw the trailer for it, I thought, this movie looks like a pile of shit. But you know what? I threw it on there anyways, and I watched it, and I was right, man. Moonfall is probably one of, not only this year, but one of the stupidest fucking movies I have ever seen in my entire life. And I don't even need to do like a review on it, but it's mind-boggling to me, first of all, how this movie has a 5.2 out of 10 on IMDb. I don't understand what people are watching and accepting with this pile of fucking shit. But if you think for once, and I know people go, oh, well, it's just sci-fi popcorny fun and blah. I get it, okay? But give me a fucking break. Roland Emmerich, you need to stop making fucking movies. You had a couple classics from back in the day, but the last 2 or 3 movies you have put out have been utter fucking garbage. And I don't really need to go on about it because God knows there's enough reviews ripping this movie apart. But Jesus Christ, Patrick Wilson and Halle Berry, like, how could you sign on for this movie thinking it was going to help your career at all? It's stupid. Anyone who buys into the fact that 2 people can go into space in a space shuttle that they grabbed out of a fucking museum, and it only takes 2 of them to start this thing up and fly it off into space, like, oh God. Like, I'm thinking, how's more stupider is this movie going to get or treat us as an audience? And it just keeps going and going and going. It's a dumbass fucking movie. So I don't normally say, well, I'm not even going to say it with this one. You know what? Watch it. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure most of you already have, but if you haven't seen it, I guess give it a watch so you can see how fucking stupid it is. But if you come at me in the comment section and say it wasn't that bad, I don't know what to tell you. You should probably fuck off and go somewhere else to someone else's channel, because I got no room for you in here. Holy Christ, is that movie stupid. Okay, so this is where I'm going to start eating my words a little bit, because you all know, given my history on this channel, I do not like the zombie genre. Okay, now again, this really isn't zombies. Okay, this is more of like the Sadness style and 28 Days Later, where it's just people infected kind of with this ragey type virus, okay, which is the title of this movie. It's called Virus 32. Just came out. It's on Shudder. And I really didn't know what to expect from it. I watched the trailer, and it seemed okay, but I mean, all trailers, for the most part, seem okay because they take the best parts out of the movie. And I mean, this movie really wasn't anything special. You know, we learn about our in the opening act or the first act, we learn about our characters, the mom, and, you know, she is separated from the father of her child and stuff, and the child comes to visit, but she has to go to work. And she works in this gymnasium style setting, like a YMCA. So she takes her kid with her to work because she's got no one to watch her. And while she's in there, this virus breaks out. So they kind of get separated in the gym because she's a security guard and she's got to do her rounds. But we find out in this movie that when these people turn and they commit a violent act, after they have committed the act, they have like a recharge period of 32 seconds. Okay, and in that 32 seconds, they're calm, they don't really move, and, you know, that's how they determine that's their chance to escape. That portion I liked about it because it was something new. But you know, the second act of this movie is her character kind of gets sucked into helping this guy give birth to his child, and his wife's infected. Like, it's a lot of stuff that you can see coming. But I didn't mind this movie. I shut it off, and I certainly didn't hate it. You you know, and they tried. I don't think this movie had a huge budget, and I did appreciate the fact that it was subtitled, not overdubbed. Thank you, Shudder, for that. But it is worth a watch. It's called Virus 32. Again, it's out on Shudder now. Give it a watch if you haven't seen it yet, and if you have, go watch it and let me know what you thought of it. It wasn't the greatest zombie movie, obviously. I've said this a bazillion times. I think we've gone as far as we're going to go with zombie movies. Okay, it's just a fact. Mind you, I did watch it during a week where there really wasn't any other releases, so I didn't really have anything else to kind of go to, but I didn't hate it. So it's called Virus 32. Give it a watch. Okay, so a movie that I was looking forward to. I gotta say this too, because this is driving me fucking bananas, okay? All these movies I'm talking about, like Virus 32, I'm gonna talk about Wyrmwood Apocalypse right now. Let the Wrong Ones In, the Cellar, okay? All these movies have like somewhere between like a 5.2 and a 6 rating, okay? And they're fucking, you know, they're fantastic movies. They really are. How, and I've said this before, how the fuck does Moonfall, how is it sitting at a 5.2? Like, I don't understand. It's mind-boggling. I don't mean to keep going on about that movie, but it's just, it is so fucking stupid. I have no idea how anyone can fathom liking that movie. It is, oh, god damn, man. Is that the state of mainstream cinema where people are so accepting of these piles of shit like Moonfall? It's a fucking terrible movie. It's like probably a 2.5 out of 10, not a 5.2. It just drives me nuts every time I see the ratings come up. Anyways, Wyrmwood Apocalypse. Okay, I'm going to tell you straight off the hop, I like this movie. It was great. Let me read the synopsis. In a zombie-infested Australian wasteland, Soldier Reyes has dedicated his life to tracking and capturing survivors for the Surgeon General in hopes of finding a cure. Okay, well, this movie takes place, I think it's almost 15 years after the first one. So there's a lot of returning characters in this sequel, like Luke Mackenzie, who now plays his brother. Bianca Bradley is in this again as Brooke. Jay Gallagher plays Barry. Listen, the one thing you have to do with this movie, or at least I found myself, because there's been so much time since the first one came out, is before you watch this one, okay, which I highly recommend, okay, because it is a great movie. It's got, the good thing about these Wyrmwood movies, and again, I'm going to get some flack because I say how much I fucking hate the zombie genre, for the most part, but I've always said too that there's always been a handful of movies that come out that are good. Some of them are great, okay, but largely for the vast majority of them over the last 10 years, they've been shit. But these movies are not one of them. I loved this movie, and I hope they make more of them. It's got kind of that like Mad Max kind of Road Warrior vibe to it, and I you know, of course it's Australian, and they just seem to be able to pull it off. But the one thing I am going to say is before you watch Wyrmwood Apocalypse is go back and watch the first one, okay? Because, I mean, you need to. You do, because they don't really explain to you, you know, about the character changes. They do subtly, you know what I mean? But if you don't know the original characters or what happened to these people prior to this movie, you'll be like, what the fuck is going on here? Because it just kind of drops you right in the mix of it. So without any warm-ups. So I highly recommend that you watch the first one. And I think you can watch the first one on Tubi TV. I'm almost positive. So it's free. You don't even have to pay for it. So watch the first one, Wyrmwood, Road of the Dead, okay? And let me know what you think about that one, okay? Because as far as I'm concerned, that one's a cult classic. It really is. And then this new one, Wyrmwood Apocalypse, watch it after, and then you'll know exactly who everybody is and how they got to be in the state that they were in and kind of what's going on in this second, like the sequel, okay? And I really do hope that they make a third one because, you know, as lacking as the zombie genre is, I do like these Wyrmwood movies. Now, another movie that caught me off guard, and I was kind of on the fence of whether or not it was going to be good, because I watched the trailer and I thought, you know what, this one's probably not going to be good. But again, it came out in a week where there really wasn't anything else to come out. So I gave it a watch, and I'm glad I did. It's called Let the Wrong One In, and it's an Irish vampire comedy movie, and holy fuck, man, I don't laugh out loud a lot in movies, okay, especially comedies or horrors, you know what I mean? But I'll tell you, I was sitting in my home theater watching this movie, and for the first like act in going into the second act, I was like screaming, laughing out loud. There were some scenes in this movie. It was just, I thought this movie was friggin' fantastic. I think his name is Eon Duffy, plays Deco, and holy fuck, is he hilarious. It's almost, his character is so uncomfortable and just weird and just goofy, but it works, and you put that accent into it, and it's, man, oh man, like this movie was fantastic. Now, mind you, it does kind of lose steam, you know, kind of in the second act a little bit. It does pick up in the third act, but that first act of this movie, when the two brothers are kind of going at each other. Basically, I'll read the synopsis. A young supermarket worker discovers his older brother is a vampire and has to choose whether to help him or slay him. And that's what it is. Basically, the mom goes to work, and the older brother, who's not really welcome there anymore, comes to the house because he was out for the night and got bit in the neck, and he's not sure what the fuck's happening to him. And then his brother has to deal with him. But just the way they converse back and forth and the shit that goes on in this movie, it's low budget gold. It really is. I thought it was fantastic. So anyways, it's called Let the Wrong One In. Again, it's not a perfect movie, and it does kind of lose steam in the second act, but the third act, you know, there's enough twists and turns in this flick to help save it and keep it going. But man, oh man, some of the jokes in that first act, I just thought were fucking hilarious. So definitely give that one a watch. Let the Wrong One In. If you've seen it, let me know what you think. If you haven't, go watch it and then come back here and let me know. Okay, 2 more movies. I'm kind of struggling here, guys, because my throat and my voice are just killing me. So I'll get through these quick. So the next movie, again, is on Shudder. It's called The Cellar. Okay, I thought this movie was fairly decent. It stars Alicia Cuthbert. It's basically about this family that moves into this new kind of mansion-y house because of the father's work, and the mother's work as well. And then, so when they move in, obviously the daughter, who's a teenager, is going through that time frame in her life where she wants to rebel and all the other bullshit that comes with being a teenager that we've all gone through, and, you know, gone through with her own kids and stuff like that. So she doesn't want to be there. But the end result is that she kind of explores the house, goes in this cellar, okay, and then she disappears. But here, let me read the synopsis. Kira Wood's daughter mysteriously vanishes in the cellar of their new house. She soon discovers there is an ancient and powerful entity controlling their home that she will have to face or risk losing her family's soul forever. Okay, well, that's it. I mean, the rest of the movie is Alicia Cuthbert trying to not only find the clues to get her daughter back, but she also has to convince her husband in a typical fashion, because there's, you know, and again, I don't really care for a lot of, but I understood in this movie how the husband may not buy into what she's trying to sell him as far as all these symbols and mathematical equations and stuff throughout the house. So this demon, you know, can come back, and how they can, you know, get into the other world where this demon came from to take their daughter. I mean, no one's going to buy into that bullshit. You know what I mean? But eventually he does. Okay, I don't want to spoil too much for you, but it's kind of in the trailer. So I was rolling my eyes at the beginning, thinking, "Fuck, here it goes." It's going to be another movie of him just being standoffish throughout the entire fucking thing, because he's not going to buy into this. But eventually he does, and then he helps out, and then shit starts to, you know, get better. So, and I did appreciate that they didn't drag it on too long. All right, sometimes they do it for the whole movie and it just fucking ruins it. But there was a couple scenes in this movie I just rolled my eyes. Like, she finds this professor out of all the fucking towns and, you know, cities and blah, blah, blah they could have moved to. They happen to find, or she happens to find, the one professor who is like the world's most leading, you know, guy in this phenomenon, which is this demon, and how to, you know, get into his world and all that sort of stuff. And I thought, whatever, it's a fucking horror movie and we have to have it, or they're not going to figure it out themselves. This movie, I think, the one thing I thought to myself when I was watching this movie thinks that it's way smarter than it actually is, okay? But whatever. They do their best to try and explain the bullshit in these symbols and make you understand and blah, blah, blah. I was like, sometimes I was thinking, well, does this movie even understand all these mathematical equations it's throwing at us? You know what I mean? So I'm like, whatever, I'll buy into it. I did like the third act too, because we actually see in to this demonic world a little bit. Not a large deal. Again, I believe this is probably a lower budgeted end movie, but we did get to see in there a little bit, and I did appreciate kind of how it looked. And I mean, every director's got their own take on what the other side looks like, and I thought this one looked pretty cool. I did think the demon that was coming for them, and you'll see what I mean when it's all about these stairs, like these stairs that go into this cellar, okay? And it's just, this is the slowest, stupidest fucking demon I've ever seen in my life. So I'm like, I don't know. If you've seen this movie, let me know if you thought that way as well. But they didn't seem to have any problem evading this creature. I don't know. Anyways, again, it probably could have been lack of budget, and they could only show it so much and make it look so powerful because they didn't have the money to pull it off. But whatever. Anyways, it's called The Cellar. It's on Shudder now. I do recommend you watch this movie. It's probably going to be a one-time watch, but I certainly didn't shut it off and fucking hate it. I thought it was okay. So, and then finally, the last movie. Now, we've all seen this movie. I would think that we've all seen this movie, but I still to this day, I have people asking me about it and what I thought about it and blah, blah, blah. And I guess I never really talked about it much on my Facebook page or anything, which, by the way, all the links to my social media are in the description box. If you want to talk to me, all you got to do is message me, okay? My Facebook, my group page is there, okay? My Instagram is there. I don't use Twitter a lot, even though I list it below, but I mean, chances are I won't respond to you on Twitter because I never go on there. But Instagram and my Facebook page, Happywax TV, if you want to ask me to watch a movie, or if you have a question for me about a movie or what I thought, just message me. Lots of people do, okay? But the problem with this YouTube is that, early on, if you ask me a question on YouTube, I'll see it, okay? But once a video starts to generate a lot of views, kind of like, let's use the sadness as an example. I think that video, for me anyways, it's coming up on 25, almost 3,000 views. There's no way. I'm like, at some point, I stop checking the comments. You know what I mean? I say I read them all, but that's usually within like the first 2 or 3 days. But then it gets to a point where there's just so many comments coming in, and I can't keep up. So the best way to if you have a question or you want to say hi or whatever is jump over to my Facebook page or my Instagram page, because I do check them quite often, and you've got a better chance of getting a response from me on there. So it doesn't cost anything, just like it doesn't cost anything to watch this, because I don't ask you guys to monetize. You're watching it for free. Hopefully there's no commercials, but if there is, it's not because of anything I'm doing. It's YouTube trying to make a quick buck. So anyways, okay, so off track there, but quickly, a lot of you have asked me about the movie X. Listen, anything A24 puts out, in my opinion, is absolute fucking gold, okay? I know there'll be the odd person in the comment section, oh, what about this movie, or what about that movie? I don't care. Every movie I've seen that's been produced by A24 has been a fucking banger, okay? It doesn't matter what genre it takes place in, whatever. And this movie is just another example. X, I fucking loved it, okay? I saw it 3 times in the theater, and I'll tell you something, I just realized now that Mia Goth plays her own character, and she also plays the old woman. I don't want to spoil anything for you, so I'm not going to get into it, although I'd imagine most of you have seen it, but I did not realize that. I didn't really research the movie before I went into it, and I knew I wouldn't really be doing a review on it because it's a wider release movie, and I tend to stay more on the smaller released movies and the stuff that, direct to video and video on demand and all that bullshit. So I knew I wasn't going to be talking about this one, yet here I am talking about it. But anyways, I just wanted to give you my opinion. I thought it was fantastic. It had a real old school vibe. Well, obviously, because I think it took place in, the 70s or the 80s. Okay, and I like the way it filmed. I know Ty West doesn't have the best record under his belt, but he does have some good movies under his belt. And this is definitely one of them. So this is a return to form, I feel, for Ty West. But I'm pretty sure, like I said, most of you have seen this movie. But if you haven't, or if you've read some bad reviews on it. I don't know what the fuck they're watching, but everybody's got their own opinion. I mean, that's what you come here for, right? To listen to my opinion. So anyways, I'm not going to get into this movie too much. All I'm saying is, if you haven't seen this, do yourself a huge favor and go watch it. X is banging. I thought it was great. So anyways, okay, so there's a bunch of movies for you to watch. Except for Moonfall, because it is a pile of shit, but still go watch it. Just so you can see I'm not over-exaggerating. But I mean, there's been enough shitty reviews saying how shitty it is. I mean, you shouldn't even question it. So maybe wait till you can get your hands on it for free or something. I don't know, but it's fucking terrible. So anyways, okay, there's some movies. If there's anything you want me to review, the next couple of weeks, movie-wise, look pretty slow. I do have a couple that I am going to watch, but if you have anything that you want me to talk about, or something that you've seen that I haven't done a review for, just drop me a line. Again, all my stuff's in the description box. Just send me a message and I'll do my best to get to it. And that's all I got for now. So hopefully my throat improves and I'm not as raspy in the next video, guys. But yeah, anyways, let me know what you think about these movies, and until next time,